everybody. I want to talk about like passing judgment on other people. Sometimes you and I kind of I do that same thing too, and I try to do my best that I possibly can. So none of us are perfect, you know. But sometimes how we'll look at a tree or a bush or something like that, or a flower, and we might think, ooh, well, that's okay, tree. That's it's losing its leaves, or it's or it's that, or that flower's not as pretty as the other flower, you know, but sometimes, if we turn the tree upside down, the roots are just as important. The tree, hold on real quick. If the tree falls over and exposes its roots, you might think, oh my goodness, you know, the bottom of the tree we never think about, but the bottom of the tree is just as necessary as the top of the tree. The top of the tree, the bottom of the tree, the roots might not be full of leaves and flowers and fruiting, but underneath the soil, it's what gives it life. It gives also what's underneath the soil life also to those little bugs and creatures to hide in and whatever. So just as necessary. But you got to see the whole tree to appreciate it. You can't just judge somebody or something just by what you see at first glance, or you know some people say soil, some people say dirt, some people say good or bad. We use too many adjectives too quickly at the start. you know the more you get to know something or a subject, or maybe get to know that plant, you know like, for instance, there was a beautiful flowering tree, a bush in our backyard growing up, and my mother, my mother would call it the stink flowers because she didn't like it, but I thought they were pretty. They were like the little ones with little flowers and the leaves, but I would pick them for her and I'd bring them into the house. She's like, "Oh, those stink flowers," but I thought they were beautiful. Yeah, but she'd still put them into a vase and still put them on the table in the kitchen and stuff like that because we gave them to her as a gift. But sometimes those a flower might not be the most prettiest smelling, but it sure does look decorative, and it sure does look absolutely beautiful when you take time. Same thing like Charlie Brown. He picked that little tree and he thought it was beautiful, but then his friends were like, "Oh, Charlie Brown, you screwed up. That's not a pretty tree. Da 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 da." But then they said, "Hey, that little tree's fine," and they showed it love and kindness and decorate. And what did the little tree do? It poof, it blossomed. Just like when you adopt dogs or kids, or you get married or whatever. You could take time to get to know somebody instead of, judging it right off the bat. It might blossom to something beautiful. You never know. Om Shanti, Om, blessed be. Happy lunar calendar.